I mean, it's tough being back in it. What's the intro?
I don't know. You got anything?
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws.
We're number one.
We are brought to you by the good people at Top Sport. Don't forget to like and subscribe everywhere you can.
It's getting close.
We're like, what, 11 days away from a trial game?
I had a really erotic fantasy on the train because, of course, they were delayed and I had plenty of time to think about it. Picture it, Terry. Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Super Saturday. I know, too hot for YouTube.
Speaking of hot, one player who's hot in demand, Dylan Brown. But his asking price is apparently $1.2 million.
It's big money.
That is quite steep for someone who was arguably the chief playmaker of a team that came 15th last year.
Yeah, I thought, well, we saw what happened when Miss Moses left for most of the season. Meanwhile, over at Penrith, Jerome Little arguably played better without Nathan Cleary. Got them to a position where they could win minor premiership on the back of Cleary's return. 1.2 seems pretty steep to me. Now, I did tweet that thought and got a lot of people saying, oh, well, that's the going rate for a modern playmaker. Shouldn't be.
No.
1.2 million should be Jerome Hughes, Nathan Cleary, yes.
So $1.2 million for a modern playmaker. Okay, Luke Brooks is a modern playmaker, and look how much grief the Tigers caught paying him $900,000.
Yeah, I think 1.2 is
I think the elite of the elite are 1.2. As you said, Jerome Hughes, Nathan Cleary, I'd pay them more than that.
Yeah, they're both easy.
I think Nico Hines is probably he's on $1 million. Leave it at that.
Yep.
Moses.
Yeah, Moses is worth it. And then you go to your
Munster.
Pongers and your Turbos.
Yeah.
That's about it.
See, I don't know about Turbo. I think the injury history comes with it.
Completely fair.
I think that if there was one player that I was starting a franchise and said you have $1.2 million of free money, I'd go to Dylan Edwards.
Yeah, that's fair. So I like Dylan Brown as a player, right? But this is a guy who, let's talk facts. He's done some stuff that's put him in a bad light. He's played pretty well. Hasn't really taken over when he was given the opportunity to take over. And now he's 2 years into a 4-year deal and he's got 30 different clauses and he's saying, I want 1.2. Who wants me? Come get me. Now, I know a lot of it is his manager, but he's reached out to Rugby. He's reached out to every team. That to me says he wants to close those loopholes with Parramatta saying, we'll give you 1.5, come back. But if the Dragons are offering 1.2 and I'm Parramatta, take the 1.2, mate. Go where you're red.
I think from Dylan Brown's perspective as well, he's either trying to cash in. It feels like he's either trying to cash in on the fact that the Roosters need a playmaker,
That's a good point.
or he's going to go home to the Warriors.
Also a good point, yeah.
I have never felt that he's wanted to be at Parramatta. I've just felt that Parramatta have always been the most convenient for him. And now there are a couple of teams that have some money. It would be just Dragon-esque to go through this whole off-season and sign Daniel Atkinson and trump that as their big money playmaker and then go and get a guy who's just the same level.
On double and a half when you're paying Atkinson. If I'm Dan Atkinson, if the Dragons go and offer him that money, if I'm Dan Atkinson,
I'm renegotiating before round one.
I want double what you're paying me because that's offensive. And then if I'm Flanagan and Ilias, I'm saying, oi, Dad / Mr. Flanagan, what's doing here? I don't think... I think this screams, oi, Roosters, come get me. And Parramatta are going to say, oh, Dylan, we'll give you 1.5. Brilliant work, but, you got to earn that.
Yeah, you do have to earn it. And I don't think he's done anything to earn that. Now, the Dragons look like they have secured a...
huge signing.
Forward, at least.
Yep.
OMR Gula.
Yeah,
effective immediate.
It's not going to break any bounds. It's a decent pickup. Big dude.
I like OMR Gula if he's in jersey 17 to 22. In fact, he's probably going to be an 8 to 10.
Yeah, when they're like, oh, we got any starting props, so...
Yeah.
And no disrespect, big fan of the show, but come on.
Yeah, I know. When someone said to me, oh, the Dragons landed a big four, I was like, oh, geez, I wonder who it was. My mind started ticking over of players who I thought, might want to jump out and go over to the Dragons. And I thought, well, there's not really that many. And it didn't shock me that it was OMR Gula.
Yeah.
And then when I started seeing him in the 8 and 10 jersey, I was like, that Dragons team is really, 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 really bad.
They need to go out and Molo and say, look, sorry for whatever we did. And we know it was us because we're the Dragons. let me re-sign you. Gula is a handy bench forward. When he was up, I was like, Cronulla can have a dip before we re-signed all the players. Because my thinking was that we were going to have to cut 2 or 3 your Kafusis and stuff, which I would much rather than Gula. So,
but that's the thing. You were talking about OMR Gula as sliding into a rotational piece.
Yeah, behind Huge.
Yeah.
I want to slot him in as the 6th or 7th. Yeah. Not our top prop.
2.
And again, I don't want to turn this into a Dragons bash because it's low-hanging fruit and it's very, very easy. But I saw one of their well-known fans of the podcast, good mate of the show, come out and say, we got our enforcer. And I was like, no.
No.
Those weren't the words I used, but for YouTube purposes, I'm going to say no.
No. Now, what the NRL needs to do is say no to this next loophole that the Roosters are trying to come up with here, is that Joey Manu's season is he in Japan or France or wherever he is,
Rugby nations,
finishes before June 30, and they want to get him back on the cheap. And for mine, that's a no.
It's despicable.
Joey Manu chose to leave rugby league. He should be, if he's a free agent, okay, he's a free agent for 2026. He can't come into the 2025 calculation.
Yeah, I agree. I remember a couple of years ago, didn't Jordan Rapana do the exact same thing?
Yeah, but Jordan Rapana had already left to go to rugby and had played rugby for a couple of years and then came back.
Yeah, and then they shut him down and Canberra couldn't bring him back when they wanted to. I know it was bumped and everyone screamed, fair trade. No, you've signed a contract. It doesn't matter when it owns up because that's the quickest way to cheat the cap. We saw a couple of years ago, Ben Barber got caught doing stuff he shouldn't have and said, I'm going to go over there and play while I serve my suspension. The NRL correctly said, doesn't work like that, mate. No. That's what this screams of. He's going to go earn $1 million playing that rah-rah game in, I believe it is Japan, tear up over there, come back to the Roosters, play half a season on cheap. That's cheating the cap. And the NRL, they haven't approved this. This is all rumour at this stage. Manu, to his credits, come out and said, no, I'm committed to rugby, which we know is a joke. RTS and every other player.
I do think he wants to play the World Cup.
As he should. I mean, I don't know if he's going to get in. All back seems pretty good. But good on him for going to have a punt. But he's playing rugby union. He can't come back and then go, actually, I'm going to go play rugby again. No, mate. You've chosen, and the Roosters, next year he's banned.
The only way that I would allow him to come back is if he actually came out and said, you know what? Rugby is a really shit game.
Yep.
Like really
those words.
Really shit game, and I do want to come back and I want to play for the Roosters. And the NRL will turn around and say to them, that's fine. Yep. For 2026 you can play for the Roosters, but whoever's coming last gets Joey Manu for the remainder of 2025.
And look, the Dragons probably... No, we don't want to reward the Dragons.
Yeah.
I want... I agree, 100%.
No, whoever... All right, you got to go to a bottom 14.
Yeah, I agree.
Right now.
Plus, I want him to get a shirt that says rugby.
Yeah. Now, Felon Blake has come into pre-season apparently ripped and shredded and firing, ready to go. And then he's also come out and said, I might play less minutes. Words I did not want to hear. No,
I'm a little bit not so happy with this. Now, he has said that he wants to make how he's willing to do whatever. The thinking is that less minutes, more impact, which is great. But we signed him because of the big minutes, big impact. And the entire season in 2024, we saw the forward rotation playing 10 and 12 and 14 minutes to get ready to put Felon Blake in to a 60-minute thing. You don't sign one of the top forwards in a role that he's dominated for 5 years and go, actually, we're going to change it. That's dumb.
Because I had actually started psyching myself into the fact that if we can get this guy to play 60 minutes or 55 minutes, right? And he has a spell just before halftime and just after halftime. That's huge Tukes minutes.
Yes, it is.
That is how you integrate huge Tukes into the team. Now, I know as well that he has a third spell sometimes and then comes on with 10 minutes to go. I kind of want to negate that.
Yeah.
I want to negate that part there of needing to, the game should be won by then.
It should be, yeah.
Can you say that again without a burp this time?
So I kind of want to negate the third spell from him. The game should be won or lost by that point there. If it's a close game, whatever. But I'd thought to myself, if he's going to play 55, 60 minutes, that's 20 to 25 minutes for Tukes.
Yeah. Big impact.
And the player who's going to essentially cop the raw end of this deal is Toby, because he's suspended and he's injured.
Yep.
So the onus will be on him to get back into it.
It will be. I mean, you can throw your Hamlin-Newellies in there, your Hazeltons, whatever.
And Jesse Colquhoun has come out and said, I'm targeting a round 4 return.
Which is just music to my ears. I will touch on that literally in a minute. I feel like this is a smoke screen. I feel like Felon Blake will play 30 minutes as he did for the Warriors, sit down, and he'll come back on when he's needed, and he'll play through, and if he gets tired, we deal with it with 10 minutes to go. 2 stint forward, because we've seen Toby Rudolph, who, is not in the same milk, let's be honest, play 25 or 30 and then come back with 20 to go. That's what most starting props do. Felon Blake was playing the extra 7 or 5 minutes either side. It adds
That's
up
what
to
your
about,
elite props do.
About 60. You're paying Haas minutes, your Tinos, your Carrigans, your real big money signings. Felon Blake's not 21 anymore. I get it that he's not going to come in and do that. And he looks,
but he's 28. He's in his peak.
Yeah, he looks fantastic, and I get what he's doing. It's about impact. I think Fitzgibbon's going to say, "Shut up! You're going to play the exact minutes we signed you to play, and paying you $1 million."
Yeah, that's the other thing as well. If this is a directive from Craig Fitzgibbon and he has paid this guy $1 million to do less, time me out.
Yeah, let's do it.
Sign me up.
But Jesse Colquhoun, the magic words, Colquhoun season is upon us. He looks utterly fantastic.
Yep.
We've seen players go away with ACLs and come back in okay shape. Colquhoun has said, I'm coming back in the best shape of any rugby league player who's ever existed.
Look, I will say this, you can tell which one his dodgy leg, because it looks like your legs.
Oh, it's so true.
But,
and the other one,
yeah, but he's in tremendous nick. If it was an upper body show, he's winning.
Yeah. I've seen some people come out and say, where does he fit in? Wherever he feels.
Yeah, wherever he wants to play.
This kid is a freak, and he's so much quicker and better off the mark and laterally and ball playing than any other forward in the game, other than Felon Blake. Shucks, of course. But today, or yesterday by the time this drops, Tom Hazelton's been linked with a move to Newcastle.
So I've got a tongue twister. Tom talking to 2 teams.
Yeah! Bald, Newcastle talking with. Mine's better.
Yeah. So apart from Cronulla, there are 2 other teams he's talking to up and down the freeway.
Yeah, which is fair. This is a bloke who's in the peak of his career. I mean, the peak of his life. The peak hairstyle of the NRL.
Yep.
He should be talking to teams.
Yeah.
His manager should be doing the job. Now, the talk is that unless he gets a starting spot, he's staying at Cronulla, which is completely fair. Why would you leave? But Newcastle just lost Leo Thompson. They can go...
And Saifidi.
I believe Hazelton's from up there, isn't he?
He's Goulburn.
Oh, God. Well, that's close to Newcastle.
No, it's not close to Canberra.
Who cares? Once you leave the Shire, who cares? He can go up there and start for them on $500,000. I wouldn't begrudge him.
No, I wouldn't begrudge him either, but I do think that Tom has to have a look at, am I going to go and start for Newcastle and, get his starting minutes, whatever. Or am I going to go and back up Adam Felon Blake in a run, for top 4 every year? I really think that this is a pivotal point for him. If I was Tom, I'd be saying to Cronulla, I want a 2-year deal, and in that time there, I'm either going to force myself to start next to Adam Felon Blake, or after my 2nd year, I'm going to move on.
That's completely fair. Now, there are, Tom could be the one. Kafusi's probably got the inside run at the moment.
Yep.
Toby's probably number 2, and you got Hamlin-Newelli. Obviously, you got Huge Tukes pushing for minutes. They've just re-signed him. Colquhoun's a freak, and you got Sifa Talakai. Plus, Atkinson may play the utility role.
Hopefully not.
Well, I don't think he should, but there's talk that he might. There's plenty of competition there.
Yep.
You go to Newcastle, you start.
Yeah, he goes to Newcastle as a start. He goes to Canberra, probably starts because
Papali'i
is retiring. So, look, there's plenty of starting spots for a guy like Tom, but at this point in time, he should be looking at this Cronulla team going, we're top 4 last year, and we've just added a freak of nature into the team. We're probably going to be top 4 again, pushing for grand final.
He's a cold hero. People love him in Cronulla. We love him. We loved him before anyone else because we're really cool like that.
Yeah.
But
this is what happens when you actually watch Newtown.
Exactly. But when players leave, there's other players there. And look, it gun to my head if you're telling me pick one, it's Colquhoun all day, every day.
Dan.
Talk to me, Terry.
It's time for the bottom half of the top 8.
This is what everyone's tuning in for, to see the teams that are almost there but not quite.
Couple of controversial ones I'm looking at here, and
it's done.
It's done. What's done is done.
Too late to go back now. If I can put up with Canberra not being 16th, you can put up with this.
Yeah. Now look, I'm happy with this one here. In 8th place, we put the Sydney Roosters. Yep. They've lost
the red, white, and blue.
They've lost Joey. They've They've lost Sam Walker for a period of time.
Joey's going.
Uncle Joey left.
Yeah.
And they've signed Chad Townsend.
Yeah.
Which is absolute banter.
4 bop.
Yeah. Now, I personally think that they will... The money that they're saying they have set aside for Joey Manu, I think is a smokescreen. Mm-hmm. And this is if the Cowboys are really bad, we'll go and get Reece Robson early.
Yep,
and then Brandon Smith can play lock for the remainder of the year. And away we go. But the starting halves for the year are going to be Chad Townsend and Sandon Smith.
Yeah.
And that is diabolically shit.
There's some potential there.
No, there isn't.
Potential to laugh.
Yeah.
They've gone from having arguably the best spine in the NRL to undoubtedly the worst. Because Connor Watson's going to start at 9, and I love Connor Watson.
Yep.
I'm such a huge fan of him, but he's not a 9.
Is he going to start at 9?
Well, he's going to have to because Smith's got an ACL.
Oh, did he?
He did his ACL in like a week before the finals or something.
Did he? Oh,
so he's out for most of the season. So Connor Watson's there, or they're going to have to pick a kid. And look, they've got 900 juniors, but their reserve grade team last year was diabolical, and their flag wasn't much good. So this isn't a team that relies on their juniors because they buy everybody. But looking at that team on paper, I think they're lucky to get in the 8.
Yeah.
They got a lot of stars.
Yeah.
James Tedesco for his 400
He needs to have the same year that he had last year.
He's a very good footballer. Their wingers are incredible. They got that rugby bloke whose name is impossible to say.
That is
Mark.
That is one of the tremendous surnames that we will not pronounce on this show.
Not going to embarrass myself.
Absolutely.
He's a good kid. He's got a bit of talent. Look, Billy Smith's back. I hope, please, legitimately, I hope he can stay fit. Kids had the worst run with injuries. They got some good forwards. They did lose their enforcer, Maria Hargraves, but they got the Nugget, Nate Miles. So.
Yeah, eighth is generous. This next one is really generous because the more I think about it, the more I think these guys should have been like 10th.
Yep, fair.
South Sydney Rabbitohs.
The Rabitos.
How did we let them get in so high? They haven't recruited anyone.
They got a lot of talent, and you don't forget, like they missed $2 million worth of talent at the back end of last year.
Now I saw a really interesting stat the other day about Latrell Mitchell.
Yep.
In his time at the Roosters, he played 92% of his games. In his time at the Rabbitohs, he's played 56% of his games.
Bit older.
Yeah, fullback's not his spot. That also says to me that when he played centre wing, he was awesome.
That's a very good point.
When he plays centre for New South Wales, he's awesome. When he plays centre for Australia, he's awesome. When he plays fullback, his body's not up to it.
Controversial take. There's a bit more weight on those knees than there was in his Roosters days. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. We all get bigger as we get older. But this is the 5th time we've heard Latrell Mitchell's in career best shape coming back. Now, he does look good. There was talk that 2024 was the kick up the butt he needed. This is a bloke on $1 million a year. He's a professional. In 9-year professional. Shouldn't need a kick up the butt. We've heard that Wayne Bennett coming back is exactly what he needed. Shouldn't need that. This is a bloke who lives and breathes rugby league, is a hero to a lot of kids out there, a lot of people. And if he needs this and this to go right, he's not in the mind frame to lead a team to a competition.
Yeah, if you wake up in the morning and you don't have, there's a million reasons for you to just be a professional and you still need motivation.
Well, that's a worry, but I mean, if he finds it, he can be a superstar player. So can Cody, Latrell, Whiten. They got plenty of talent. Campbell Graham's back.
They signed Lewis Dodd, from St Helens,
and he immediately got dropped to reserve grade, which made me laugh.
Oh, I don't know.
They got Humphreys there, good kid. I'm worried though because all the South fans I talk to are like, "Oh, we're glad Cook's gone, but geez, that Marmacelis ain't no good."
Yeah, I think that Jamie Humphries is the...
I think he's going to jump 9 very quickly.
But again, I don't know, Cody Walker's 35, 36 now?
Yeah, he had a pretty terrible season last year. I look at their forward pack, and Colin Matangi I love, Totola I love, but he's coming off a huge injury, and Jai Arrow's okay, he hasn't had the greatest couple of seasons. Cam Murray's a human god. Love that bloke and would do anything for him. Where's their enforcer? They lost Burgess, man. He was probably their enforcer.
That's why I think 7th has been a bit generous here. And again, Bennett, they haven't picked up a big name.
They haven't. Bennett coming back's going to lift them. They'll get the kick. I think they'll win enough games early, and I think Campbell Graham is going to be the next superstar in centres. I think they'll just scrape in. 7th is probably fair, but if you told me 10th, no arguments.
Now 6th.
Now we're into the quality.
Yeah, 6th. I think there is a real top 6. right? And it's really hard to pick the order of them, but I think we've nailed this one here.
Of course we have.
Manly.
Yep.
Now, we flirted them 5th or 6th. Either way, we're going to do it. I just look at Manly, and they've got Turbo, but his legs can explode at any time. And they've got DCE, who is he's a year older. They have some quality players. They can score tries from anywhere on the park.
Yep.
They can also concede from anywhere.
Yes, they'll win a lot of 40-38s.
Yeah. They got, as you said, points at a premium, no defence.
Yeah, they can't tackle. Now, this is a team that I'm going to enjoy watching this year. Ruben Garrick is one of my favourites. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, Tolutau Kola.
He's a genius. He's so
Tommy
quick.
Talau.
These are all good footballers, you know. You got Olakau'atu, who can just bust anyone open anytime. Luke Brooks played some really good football last year, who would have thought. But then you look at their one, who is arguably a top 3 player in the game when he's fit. Do they move into centre after an injury? I don't know.
They have neglected to pick up a star number 9 for a long period of time now. I'm telling you, they let Ben Hunt go to the wrong Maroon team.
Yeah, him and 9, we're talking quality.
You're talking, they would have been top 4.
I don't rate that Chung Kum. He takes 2 hours to pick the ball up. It's not good.
Gordon Chen Kum Tong.
That's him. And I've seen plenty of slow dummy half play at Cronulla in my years. There's a lot of talent. There's going to be games where they flog teams, like 60-10. They'll put the cleanest to them. There's also going to be games where people go to Brookvale and laugh like, this is the Manly team. Nathan Brown's their enforcer, a bloke who can run from the back fence, literally, and he's gone for 6 weeks.
Yep.
I'm fearful of this.
He gives you 3 great hit-ups and then the adrenaline goes to his head and he'll just slap someone
and then
he's gone. So
I love this Manly team 1-17, but this is a team who have no depth whatsoever.
And again, the Blacktown weren't real good.
Nope, they were awful. Their flag team was diabolical. They don't have a women's team to draw from.
Yep.
Inspiration. They're a good team. If they stay fit, they can go very, very deep into
What do you think about Seibold's old neighbour shooting at him?
You're probably sick of hearing about Harvard.
Yeah, smart ploy.
Yeah, Harvard. Shut up.
That's one way to get a new coach.
Well.
Fire a bullet. Look.
They're okay.
Now, one team, we've put it 5th. I feel comfortable with this one.
They could have gone a little bit.
They could have gone a little bit higher. I think this is just the next year to gel before they break the top 4.
Yep.
Canterbury Bulldogs.
I have one controversial take.
Go.
They are a halfback away from
They're a halfback away. Well, they're a halfback away from being a premiership threat.
Very, very much. Now look, Connor's not in the top 10 fullbacks in the competition, but you're not going to let anyone down.
No.
Matt Burton on his day is majestic. When he's not on his day, he's still good.
The one thing about Matt Burton is that, you know, he can have games where you just get real frustrated with him because he's not creating and he's just relying on his running game and teams get, and then he'll just kick the shit out of the ball.
Yeah, and he'll just force
error and he'll get you out of trouble, right? That's the one thing you can always count on with Matt Burton. Good game, bad game. His boot will not let anybody down.
No, and he'll put in. There's games where like your Moseses and your Brookses, Tigers players, will go missing. You'll be like, what? With Burton, you'll be like, why is he only kicked for 600? Oh, he's kicked for 600 metres.
Yep.
He's always in there. Reid Marnie, you know, probably not in the elite level, but he's going to get in your face. He's going to cause troubles, and I thought he had a really good year last year. Stephen Crichton's a genius. I love Kiraz. That bloke is...
William Kickow.
Kickow's another one. They got game breakers. Their middle forwards are good.
What's the guy with the mullet? Jacob Preston?
Yeah, Preston.
He's good. He'll play Origin this year.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Their back row is top 3 across the competition.
I mean, I even like Josh Curran.
Yeah, Curran's
a
a genius pickup. They got good young players off the bench. They got young players coming through.
And this is a team that had a real good reserve grade team, and their Jersey Flag team won. So
there's a lot to love about this club at the moment, and I hope they have a good season. I like Serrato. I've been backing him since the start. There were a couple of years there I was like, God, I'm gonna have to eat that, but man, when that stopped me before. A lot of talent here. I certainly think they're better than the ones we've named. Although when you look at the top 4, you're probably thinking, halfback, nine.
There is just something about Canterbury that's leaving them out. If they had got one of Felon Blake or Ben Hunt this year,
you're probably pushing them to 4th.
You're probably pushing them to 2nd.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws, brought to you by the good people at Top Sport. Don't forget to like and subscribe everywhere you can. Comments, feedback.
Please, positive, negative,
We love
positive,
Yeah.
positive. This is the last weekend without football for a long, long time. Now, I know there is that one in the middle there after the trials. Shut up, I don't want to hear about it. Rugby League is back.
Do you know what you do on that day though? You just log into Foxtel and you watch Rugby League.
Yeah, it makes sense.